वंदे वृंदावनचरं वल्लवीजनवल्लभं जयन्ती संभवं धाम वैजयन्ती विभूषणम्. Uh, we finished with this 15th shloka. Shaktir apratighatasya shatravairapi tushtuve yathavat sadhakasyeva yavadartha saraswati. So Nahusha's rule was just briefly mentioned within 2 shlokas, that's all. He did not want to touch upon the flip side of Nahusha here. So he just said that Nahusha ruled he was made Indra when Indra had gone and hid himself somewhere. In the Prithvi Chakram, all of these kings, he had ruled over, conquered all kings, and all kings were wearing something called Namachinnam. They had some symbols which represented that they owe their loyalty to Nahusha. And then his Shakti, his power was very difficult for others to face. They had to accept his supremacy, just as how in an argument, when two people are arguing, when one person presents a very proper argument, the other person naturally accepts the supremacy of the other person if he is as good. So he stops with this. He does not go to what happened to Nahusha in Swargam and all that, because Desika wants to give the positive aspects of the Vamsha. So in a kavyam, you are supposed to take a source and you can change it in whatever manner you want. You don't need to stick to the Puranam as such and or convey all of the things that are there in the Puranam. You can take what you want to suit your agenda here. The next shloka is Viro rasa iva utsahat nahushad abhyajayata yayatir namayena aindram ardhasanam adhishtitam. So yayatihi nama yayatihi nama Raja utsahat viro rasaha iva yayatihi nama kaschana purushaha atava apatyam putraha nahushat abhyajayata. He was born from Nahusha, just as how utsahat viro rasa iva. I told you about how the rasa, bhava and all work in a kavyam, right? So bhavas are, you have valambana vibhavam, muddipana vibhava, sanchari bhava and all these. There is also something called sthayi bhava. That sthayi bhava is your samskara that is there present in the mind. And that can give rise to rasam when all of these things come together. So until then, everybody has certain basic bhavas in their mind. Those are called sthayi bhavas. Like how everybody has that element of rati, passion in them. But not all the time let's say you're brought to a state of enjoying that Shrungara rasam. Not every situation will bring that. So the situation matters and everything. So here, he is mentioning that utsaha, which is the sthayi bhava, is your standard sthayi bhavam from which vira rasa comes out. So each rasam has a sthayi bhava. Here he basically wants to say that vira rasa is actually a culmination point of the utsaha. Utsaham is, it can go either ways, right? But then the rasam has only one aspect to it. As I said, when it's a sthayi bhava, it is something you are experiencing in the world. So when you have shoka sthayi bhava, you're actually experiencing grief. It goes to karuna rasa when you are able to enjoy that sentiment. That occurs only on a stage or a kavyam or something like that. Here, utsaha is Nahusha, which is the sthayi bhava. Utsahat veera rasaha abhyajayata. Just as how veera rasa, the sentiment of veera, heroic sentiment, comes out of utsaha, which is the sthayi bhava. In the same manner, Nahushat yayatihi nama abhyajayata. From Nahusha, Yayati was born. Now, who is this Yayati? The thing that qualifies him is Yena Aindram Ardhasanam Adhishtitam, by whom this Indra's Simhasanam, half of Indra's Simhasanam was occupied by Yayati. Tadrisham Yayatim asuyata. So he gave birth to, he didn't give birth, but yeah. So Yayati was born from Nahusha. Ardhasanam adhishtitam. Again, ardhasane sthitam, ardhasanam adhishtitam, adhishingsthasam karma. So when adhi precedes, adhi is an upasarga for stha dhatu, then you bring the adhikaranam as karma here, or give it a dvitiya, like kailasam adhyaste ityadi. Okay. So ardhasanam is, I told you last time itself, when a king he does hundreds of Ashwamedha Yaga, 100 yagas, Shatakratu, he becomes a person who is eligible for Indra Padavi. In general, if Indra is lost or he has gone into hiding, then the king who has completed 100 yagas and who is eligible for this Indra Padavi can come and sit there. There are times when Indra is also ruling and a king could complete 100 yagas, then he will come there and he can occupy half the seat. That is there. Or another way to occupy half a seat, that is giving an equal importance that you give for Indra as a king of all three worlds. The same importance is given to certain kings also when they fight with Indra side by side and conquer the Asuras. There have been kings in the Ikshvaku Vamsha also who have fought with Indra during the Devasura Yuddham, and they have helped him so much that Indra decided that he can also occupy half of the seat, in the sense that they both can sit on that Simhasanam ruling the three worlds. He is equal to Indra. Ityartha.
After gaining enough experience, do those kind of people become real Indra in some other Swargam?
அது இட் டிபெண்ட்ஸ். சம் அதர் ஸ்வர்க்கம்லாம் கிடையாது, இங்க ஒரே ஸ்வர்க்கம் தான். பட் இந்த இந்திரனுக்கு அப்புறம் இட் குட் பி தீஸ் பீப்புள் குட் டேக் அன் அவதார அண்ட் பிகம் அன் இந்திரா. இஃப் தேர் wish to become an Indra is so high, then they can become an Indra. Yeah, didn't I say the story here? எல்லா கிளாஸ்லயும் அதை சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கு. I said that, right? The row of ants. அந்த மாதிரி. So if they have that fervent desire to be an Indra, then yes, they probably will have to take a couple of janmas, and when one Indra goes away and another Indra comes up after his time, then he probably will come there. He has to wait for centuries. Many people won't like to wait, no? They would rather go for moksha, which is the easier, I guess, in a way. Like utsaham, how many other bhavas are there? Each rasa has a sthayi bhava. So if you have 9 rasas, then 9 sthayi bhavas are there. For Sringara, it is rati. Hasyam, you have hasaha. Karuna, shokaha. Veeraha, utsaha. Bhibatsam, jugupsa. Then bhayanaka, bhayam. Adbhuta, adbhutatukena Aschariyam illa. Something like that. Vikasaha, probably, I don't know. Shanta, you have Nirveda. So there are 9 sthayi bhavas for the 9 rasas. There are people who have come about with other rasas also, like Sahitya Darpanakara says Vatsalyam is a rasam. You have Bhakti Rasayana, Madhusudana Saraswati says Bhakti is the final rasa, ultimate rasam. So when they expound such a thing, then they will give that appropriate sthayi bhava also, which is permanently present in the mind. And then udbhutatvam tatra bhavati yada, when you have all the conducive elements coming together. Okay. So someone wants to start Pratipadartha?
Yeah. Yena Raja Rajnya. Let me read that from the other book. Yena Rajnya Aindram Indra Sambandhi Ardhasanam Asanasya Ardham Adhishtitam Upavishtam Saha Yayatihi Nama Saha Yayatihi iti Prasiddhaha उत्साहात् उत्साह आख्या
Akhya
स्थायी भावात्
Sthayi Bhavat. Because Sthayi
उत्साह
Bhavaha
आख्य
is in
स्थायी भाव
Pullingam. Sthayi Bhava is in Pullinga Shabda. You have Utsahakhyaha Sthayi Bhavaha. Utsahakhya. So Utsaha iti Akhya Yasya Saha Utsahakhyaha. Akhya meaning Nama. So that which has Utsaha as its name. So Utsahakhyaha. So Utsahakhyaschа ayam sthayi bhavascha Utsahakhya sthayi bhavah. Tasmat.
वीरो रस इव वीराख्य रस विशेष इव नहुषात् नृपात् नहुषनाम नृपात् ओके
तन्नाम्नः नृपात् इति प्रायः
तन्नाम्नः नृपात् अभ्यजायत उदपद्यत भावः यस्तावत् ययातिर्नाम इन्द्रस्य अर्धासनमपि लेभे सः उत्साहस्थायी भावात् वीररस इव नौषादेव सम्भूतः अतोऽप्ययं वंशः उत्कृष्टः इति भावः.
What is the meaning?
From the Yayati, I mean from Nahusha, Yayati was born and just who obtained the Indrasya Ardhasanam, half the equal seat with the Indra's seat here. He obtained. So just like Veera Rasa is born out of the Utsaha Sthai Bhava, this Yayati was born out of Nahusha.
Okay.
And he was even better than the father.
Ataha, because of this, ayam vamshaha utkrishtaha. This vamsha became greater because of that. Yeah.
The Chandravamsa became greater because of the birth of Yayati. Because Yayati was somewhat greater than his own father.
Yes, correct. Okay.
Visheshaha.
Nama iti katham atra? Nama. Dirgham irke.
Naman shabdaha. So it is Nama iti prathama ekavachanam.
And it is also Pullingam. Right? So when you have here Nama, this is an Avyaya Padam kind of thing. Okay? Because it is actually representative of Namavan. Yayatihi iti Nama yasya vartate. Saha yayatir nama iti nama asya asti iti nama. So it goes into Pullinga Shabdam. If it is for a stri, you have to say namni iti.
विशेषः नौषस्य स्थायी भाव सादृश्यस्य ययातेः रस सादृश्यस्य च वर्णनात् भावोत्कर्षो रसः स्मृतः इति आलंकारिक सिद्धांत सिद्धोत्कर्षः भाव अपेक्षया यथा रसस्य तथा नहुष अपेक्षयापि ययातिः उत्कृष्टा इति ज्ञाप्यते. तेन चंद्रवंशे जातानाम् उत्तरोत्तर उत्कृष्टश्च ध्वन्यते.
उत्कर्षः ध्वन्यते.
उत्कर्षः च ध्वन्यते. अलंकारः उपमा अलंकारः.
Yeah, nahushasya sthayi bhava sadrishyasya. So nahusha is equal to the sthayi bhava. Yayatehe rasa sadrishya cha varnanat. Because of describing nahusha as being similar to sthayi bhava and yayati as being similar to a rasa. What do we get from this? Bhavotkarshaha rasasmritaha.
Rasa is better.
Bhava utkarshaha. The culmination of bhava is rasa. Iti alankarika siddhanta siddha utkarshaha. This is an utkarsha or a better, greater, greatness which has been siddha, which is like a siddhanta for the alankarikas. So poetics experts have said that rasa is the culmination or it is the ultimate thing and bhava is before that. So which means bhavat rasaha sreshtaha iti. Bhava apekshaya yatha rasasya, just as how we have the utkarsha of rasa when compared to bhava. In the same way, nahusha apekshaya yayatihi utkrishtaha. Yayati is better when compared to nahusha. Iti jnapyate, it is understood by this. So tena chandravamshe jatanam uttarottara utkarshaha cha dunyate. So we also, it is also suggested that in those people who are born in chandravamsha are better one after the other. So uttarottaram utkarshaha ityukte, one who is born later is better than the one who was born before. There's a clear upama alankara here. So Viro rasa iva utsahat nahushad abhyajayata yayatirnama yena indram ardhasanam adhishtitam. Okay. Any doubts? No. The next one.
Yes. Please, can I ask?
Sure.
In this thing, when you have utkrishta, is that like a comparative term then? Because it is apekshya utkrishta. Like you might say shreshta taram. But just utkrishta, yeah?
Yeah, utkrishtaha nale better nartho. So it is not a taraptamap. Utkarshate means he is atishayate. He excels. Yeah. So you don't need to get that comparative superlative in mind here.
Okay.
Yeah. Apekshaya meaning when compared to. So apekshaya when அவனை பொறுத்த வரையில் அப்படிங்கிறோம் இல்லையா?
ஓகே
ஓகே.
அவனை பொறுத்த வரையில அவனை விடவும் வா.
அதாவது அபேக்ஷானா அவனை எதிர்பார்க்கும் பொழுது, அவனை பார்க்கும் பொழுது, அப்படித்தானே? எதிர்பார்ப்பு தானே அபேக்ஷாங்கிறச்சு. When you expect to compare with Nahusha, then Yayati proves to excel him. அவ்வளவு தூரம் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் இல்லையா? 2-3 வார்த்தையில அது கிளீனா ஆயிடுது. Now he moves on to describing Yayati here and his rule. So Vishala Vipulottunge Yadbahu Shikharantare Asid Veerashriya Sardham Bhumihi Ardhasane Sthita Athava Sthira. Both readings are given. So Sthita is just, she is standing there. Sthiti also means gati nirodha, where chanchala nasti kintu sa sthira bhavati ityeva artha. Both will fit in the meter. So even in the text that I have, he has given both readings. Either is fine. What does it mean here? So bhumihi sthira asit. Bhumi was very firm along with the Veerashri on his body. So Vishala Vipula Uttunge Yad Bahu Shikhara Antare. Bahoho Shikhara. Adavadhu tindolnu solrom illaya. And the shoulders are so wide that they are capable of taking on the weight of this earth. So Vishala Vipula Uttunge Bahu Shikhara Antare. Bahu Shikharam is your shoulder. Bahu is the arm. And the Shikharam is the top portion of the arm. Bahu Shikharanam Antare. Antara is in the middle. So in the expanse between the two shoulders, which are Vishala, Vipula and Uttunga. Vishalam is very long or broad. Vipulam is nice and thick shoulders. Uttunga, it is also very tall. So these qualities are needed so that it is like a idu madri platform where you can place a weight and the weight can be easily balanced there. Now on his shoulders, which are very wide, broad and very tall also, Bahu Shikhara Antare, in the middle of that, what is he carrying? Yayati, he is carrying the weight of this world along with Veerashrihi, Veeralakshmi. Both Veeralakshmi and Bhumi have taken up Ardhasanam on his shoulder. Imagine that the expanse of his shoulder is like a plank or an asanam, and on that asanam, half of the asanam Bhumi is sitting down, the other half Veerashrihi, that is Rajyalakshmi, Veeralakshmi is also sitting there. Bhumi is the earth and Veerashrihi is Veeralakshmi. So he is so brave Bravery is usually measured by the strength of the bahu, right? It is bahu balam that you always say, dor balam, which you measure for showing bravery. At the same time, carrying the weight of this earth is also figuratively, when you look at it, you carry it, anything that is very heavy, you carry it on your shoulders. It's easier to do that. So here too, he says that Bhumi and Veerashri, Veeralakshmi, both of them reside on half asanam, and that asanam is his Bahu Shikhara Antaram, that the space that is there in between both of his shoulders. Sthira Bhavati, because both of them are equal. It is like a balance for him on his shoulder. Yeah. Vishala Vipulottunge, someone Pratipadartha. Someone wants to read.
I'm driving over today, so I'm driving.
Oh, Vanda, where yaradu panta
Pratipadartha. Vishal, no, that is what we. Vishala Vipulottunge, Vishalam Parinahi.
Parinahi அப்படினாலே it is width ன்னு அர்த்தம். பரிணாம அந்த இது சொல்றது. Ahi is usually இது it is a pratyaya that comes in parinahi. Parinahi, parinahino, pullinge. Napunsakalingam, you have it as parinahi, parinahini, parinahini. Because it is vishalam antaram. It goes to this antaram, yeah.
Or bahu shikharam. No, it doesn't go with that. Yeah. Okay. Vishalam parinahi. Vipulam prithulam. Uttungam unnatam chayat.
Prithulana nalla solid irukku.
Tasmin yat bahu shikharantare yasya yayatehe skandha avakashe Veerashriya sardham Veeralakshmya saha bhumihi vasudha ardhasane asanasya ardhabhage sthita asit atishtat स्थिरा आसीत् इति पक्षे चलनरहिता सार्थकनामधेया आसीत् इति अर्थः.
Sarthakanamadaya ityukte, there is an Amarakosha entry where Bhumi is called Sthira. And the
but she is rotating.
She may be rotating, but in a figurative sense. Bhur bhumi rachalananta rasa vishwambhara sthira. Even if she is rotating, she has to give some stability so that people are not constantly feeling dizzy, no? The flat earth madri solla mudiyadhu appo. That is the reason that a lot of flat earth people say, right? That you are not feeling dizzy, so that's why the earth is not moving and it is also flat. If it is round, you will be falling down. Shaurya Lakshmi, yeah.
Bhavaha Shaurya Lakshmi bhumischa yayatehe bhuja shikhare vishrante iti bhavaha.
Shaurya Lakshmi bhumihi cha. Both Veeralakshmi and Bhumi, Adnalda, you have dual here. Yayatehe bhuja shikare, on the top portion of his bhujam, of his shoulders, of Yayati's shoulders, Vishrante, they are taking rest. Both of them are taking rest. So Vishranta, Vishrante, this Strilinga Dvivachana. Vishala Vipulottunge, Yadbahu Shikharantare, Asid Veerashriya Sardham, Bhumir Ardhasane Sthira.
Normally they say Sri Devi Bhudevi, but instead of Sri Devi, they've put it as Veera Lakshmi.
Lakshmi is Ashtalakshmi.
Everybody.
Ella Lakshmi undu. Inge because it is Raja, Veeram is. So the idea also here, it's only because of his bravery that he is able to conquer the world. It is not because of cruelty or kapatam, adalla illa. Not by force, but by showing his bravery, he was able to conquer the world, and not just by hereditary. He has just acquired the wealth from his father, so he has also ruled in Kadayad. Usually, every king who acquires, who becomes a Yuvaraja or who becomes the king after the older king, he also goes on a Dikvijay Yatra to show his face to everybody, and if they are ready, they will accept his loyalty. Otherwise, they will fight for if they think that this guy is too young, or it is not, we can at least we can try our luck with this fellow, he is very young. But this is just to this is to indicate stability in his rule here. Nidesham tasya rajano na shekuhu ativartitum prapta swapara nirvaham pramanam iva vadinaha. இவருக்கு வந்து இது ரொம்ப பிடிச்சிருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். If you look at ஹயக்ரீவ ஸ்தோத்திரம், அதுலயும் வந்து he will talk about வாதி பிரதிவாதி. ஏன்னா let Hayagriva reside on my tongue அப்படிம்பார் ஒரு ஸ்லோகம். If I remember that, I'll pick it up. பின்னாடி வரும், அது ஒரு 15-16க்கு மேல வரும் ஒரு ஸ்லோகம். பியூட்டிஃபுல் ஸ்லோகம். தேசிகருக்கு வந்து he likes, because he is, I think, gone to a lot of வாக்கியார்த்த சதஸ். அவருக்கு இது 2 தடவை யூஸ் பண்ணிட்டார் இந்த உபமானத்தை. ஓகே. தஸ்ய நிதேஷம் ராஜானஹ அதிவர்த்தித்தும் ந ஷேகுஹு. தஸ்ய நிதேஷம், தஸ்ய யயாதேஹே நிதேஷம் ஆக்ஞா. His orders, none of the other kings could ativartitum na shekuhu. They could not, they were not capable. Shashaka shaknoti, the shaknoti ityasyaiva lit lakaraha atra. Shashaka shekatuhu shekuhu iti bahuvachane vartate. So rajanaha na shekuhu, they were not capable of ativartitum, of transgressing any of his orders. Tasya nidesham. How was it? Like pramanam iva vadinaha. Vadi, a person who is capable of expertly arguing, when he gives a pramanam, when he gives an evidence, and that evidence is something that can easily prapta swapara nirvaham. It can prove his point very clearly. If such a pramanam, if such an evidence is given by a person who argues, then others cannot, do something against it. That is, they cannot transgress that words that this argumentator has done. Is it clear? In a Vakyartha Sadas, there are 2 people arguing. If a person is very clearly he is superior, he is able to provide evidence for whatever he is talking. Pramanam ityukte proof. So he is able to provide proof with whatever hypothesis he presents. Then the other person cannot ativartitum na shekuhu. They cannot cross that argument at all. They cannot give a counter argument for this argument at all. Tatha asti yayatehe agnya adi. So prapta swapara nirvaham. Swasya parasya cha nirvaham praptam. Nirvahana, he has obtained, அது எப்படி சொல்றது, ரெண்டுத்தையும் வந்து தன்னை சேர்ந்த okay. Swa here represents his friendly kings, and paranirvaham, and his opponent, that is anybody who is an enemy. Tasya nirvaham api, adavadhu administration eduthikalam. In the case of a king, you take it as he has attained the loyalty of his friends and the loyalty of his enemies. Abdin eduthikalam nirvaham garthukku. Or you can take nirvaham as administration. He has also got taken over the administration of his friendly kings also, and the kings of who are all on his, who are standing as enemies also. If you take it in the Vadi's paksha, prapta swapara nirvaham. Nirvaham is an argument. When an argument which is both in favor of himself and which is in favor of the para also, there is a pramanam for that. A pramanam which is in favor of both swam and param. The other person also cannot argue again. It also proves his own point. Then nobody else can cross that argument. Is that clear? Maybe Pratipadartham padicha better ago. Nagmani Modi, do you want to read? Yeah.
प्रतिपदार्थः तस्य ययातेः प्राप्त स्वपरनिर्वाहं स्वस्य स्वसुहृदाञ्च कार्यनिर्वाहिकं निदेशम् आज्ञां प्रमाणं वादिनः प्रतिवादिनश्च निर्वाहकं प्रमाणम् इदानीम् उक्तं किल opponents side also there is nothing to tell.
There is, he doesn't mention that, no?
प्रतिवादी नास्ति वा?
Or
Prativadi
the evidence which is acceptable to both sides or something like that.
both the sides. वादिनः इव
Evidence which is acceptable to both sides or something like that.
Correct. That's yeah, makes sense. Vadinaha prativadinaha cha nirvahakam pramanam.
वादिनः इव वावदूकाः इव वावदूकाः इत्युक्ते
experts Vagni iti na tu jalpakaha.
अतिवर्तितुम् उल्लङ्घयितुं राजानः प्रतिभूपतयः न शेकुः न समर्थाः बभूवुः.
Yeah. Swapara nirvaha pramanam swam prati param prati cha artha pramapakatva rupa nirvaha vishishtam manam iti. So the meaning that is both conducive to us and another. See, if you like something like Veda Pramanam, when a Veda Pramanam is brought in, then nobody can argue for or argue against it. Everybody has to accept.
उभयपक्ष.
उभयपक्ष साध्य.
यथा भावः यथा च वादिना उभयनिर्वाहि प्रमाणोपन्यासे कृते तत् प्रतिवादिभिः अपि उल्लङ्घयितुं न शक्यम्. तथा तस्य ययातेः आज्ञाः शत्रवः अपि नैव उल्लङ्घितुं समर्थाः अभवन्.
Here he doesn't say parana, no? That's what I wanted to check. 18. No? He takes it from Prapta Swasya Vadinaha Parasya Prativadinaha cha Prapta Swapara Nirvaham Swasya Nideshtuhu Paresham Swasuhridadinam Karya Nirvahakam iti bhavati. So because he doesn't have any enemies at all, he takes it as Swasya Nidesham Swasuhridam Nidesham cha Anye Rajanaha Shatravaha ye Pratibhupatayaha Vartante te tu ativartitum na shaknuvanti iti.
Opponent वक्तुं न शक्यते.
Yeah, you can't take opponent for the king here. When you take it in the Yayati Pakshecha, atra Yayatehe Swasya Nirvaham Nidesham, an Agnya, an order which he gives, Para is someone who is not himself, but someone who is associated with him, who is other than him, which is Swasuhridam. His friends. Any agnya which is given by someone, like someone who is loyal to him. This thing also, because they have the backing of Yayati, even the Suhridam agnya api tatra na ativrityate.
Prativadebhi ullanghitum na shakyam.
Yeah.
Or can we think like his agnya was fair and just, that others didn't have any reason to revolt against
I think
it.
that's more appropriate.
That makes more sense. Yeah. Okay. So yathacha vadinaha ubhayanirvahi pramana upanyase krite. Vadina, by a vadi, by a person who argues, when he gives an upanyasa, when he places forth, upanyasaha ityukte, it is not a lecture or anything, you take it as when he puts forth a pramanam, which is nirvahi, which is equal, conducive or conclusive for both sides. Ubhaya nirvahi pramana upanyase krite. When he does such a pramana upanyasa, then prativadibihi ullanghayitum na shakyam. It is not possible for them to cross that. So atra agnya pramanayoho pratibhupa prativadinam cha sadrishya varnanatu upamalankaraha. It's a straightforward upamalankara. Okay. So nidesham tasya rajanaha na shekuhu ativartitum prapta swaparanirvaham pramanamiva vadinaha. Next one is a very simple shloka. It's a very nice one also. There is a malopama here. Tatakamiva tapartaha tamindram iva nirjaraha bhava iva rasam bhavyaha parthivaha paryupasata. Tam parthivaha paryupasata. Upasate is the latlakaraha. Paryupasate latlakara. Paryupasata.
Lang bhavati kila paryupasata.
Lang eva. Yeah, asata. Aste, paryupaste, paryupasata. Okay, fine. So they were all paritaha asevanta. Upasate ityukte upasanam kurvanti, or they serve him. So pari upasate means they stand around him. They, in the sense they serve him in all manner. Kings parthivaha tam yayatim paryupasata. They served yayati just as, or they came to yayati in a way of surrendering themselves to him, right? There are three upamas that he gives here. One is tapartaha tatakam iva. Just as how people who are suffering from tapa, from heat, but they are overly dehydrated by sun and everything, then they go and serve, or they go in search of a lake. Tatakam paryupasata. They go to a lake. Okay. Tapartaha tatakam iva. Just as how people who are suffering from atapa, from heat, they go to a jalashaya, a tatakam, a lake, to get some relief. In the same manner, the parthivaha, the kings also approached him. If they are suffering, they will go to him, and he will give them some upayam, some idea to help them out of their suffering. That is the idea here from the upama. The next upama is nirjaraha indram iva. Just as how devas go and serve Indra. Indra is the adhipati. So he has a lordship, prabhutvam, over all of the devas. The same manner here also, all the other kings, they thought of him as their lord and they served him. Bhavaha, bhavyaha bhavaha rasam iva. Bhavya is yogyam. Those appropriate bhavas, just as how they go and culminate in a rasam. The natural process of bhavas is to help the rasa. In the same manner, the kings also naturally, only those yogyaha parthivaha eva tatra they were allowed to come near him and they served him, or naturally they were drawn towards yayati in a manner to serve him. This is not that they were under any compulsion to come and serve him or anything, but they did it because it is the natural process. So if you see, all three upamas are different in the way that each one has different kinds of meaning to suggest here. So the first one is tapartaha tatakam iva. Just as how people who are suffering from heat want water and they approach a lake, in the same manner, those kings who were suffering also came to Yayati for some relief. Indram nirjaraha iva. Nirjaraha is devaha actually. Devaha yatha Indram prati agachanti. Nirjarasahan varakuradu. Yeah. So Nirjaraha Indram iva. Just as how the Devas approach Indra, in the same manner, the other kings also approached Yayati. Bhavyaha bhavaha. These bhavya bhava ityukte atratu, it is not only sthayi bhava, but all of the vibhava, anubhava, vyabhichari bhava and sthayi bhava, which are all yogyam for that particular rasam. For each rasa, we have many kinds of vibhava, many kinds of anubhava, cheshta, and many kinds of vyabhichari bhavas. There are totally 33 in number in Natya Shastra. There can be even more. We don't know. But 33 is a number that Natya Shastra gives, and many other Alankarikas also give that number. But not all of them have to be present, or all of them are appropriate for one particular rasa, or all rasas. No. Some set would be appropriate for certain things. It depends. Okay. Like if you take an alambana vibhavam is something that like a kindling effect, right? You have a beautiful forest or a beautiful udyanam, garden, that is conducive for Shringara rasam. That can also be conducive for Vipralamba Shringara or Karuna rasam, where the hero thinks that, if I had been here with my beloved, it would have been beautiful, but she is no more. So that can be a kindling effect for Karunam also. But it cannot be a kindling effect for Bhivatsarasam, because everything is so beautiful there. How will you feel jugupsa in this atmosphere? So that is why he says, Bhavyaha bhavaha rasam iva. Only those appropriate things. That is a person who will naturally come to him, were the people who came to him. There were others probably who were who did not feel the need to come there. That's all. Right? Yeah, Pratipadartha, someone wants to read?
Sure.
Yeah.
Pratipadartha tam yayatim parthivaha pratibhupatayah tatakam jalashayam. Sorry?
These can also be enemies. They can also be normal, regular kings also. It does not have to be Pratibhupatayah.
Tapartaha iva atapaklishtah iva.
Atapa is Suryasya tapaha is atapa, klishtaha kashtam anubhavanti. Te.
Indram devendram nirjaraha iva devaha iva. Rasam shringaradi rasam bhavyaha yogyaha. Bhavaha iva rathyadi bhavaha iva. Vibhava anubhava sthayi bhava sanchari bhavaha iva.
Yes.
Paryupasata samantat asevantah.
So it is only sthayi bhava which becomes a rasa, but all of these are surrounding that particular rasa and helping that rasa to parimalikarthuk. To udbhutataya kartum tatra sarve api anye bhavaha tatra upakurvanti. Nirjaraha is the prathama ekavachanam, nirjaraha is bahuvachanam. Those who do not have old age. Yeah, bhavaha. Yatha.
Bhavaha yatha tapartaha tatakam devaha indram anursambhavyaha vibhavadi bhavascha sevante tata tam yayatim pratibhupatayah asevanta.
So anu rasam rasam paschat, rasasya paschat iti anu rasam. Following every rasa, there are bhavyaha, appropriate vibhavadi bhavaha sevante ityukte. They are constantly, you will find and you will be able to note these appropriate bhavas also with every rasa. Tatha yayatim pratibhupatayah. The enemy kings also served Yayati in this manner. Visheshaha, I'll go over the Visheshas. Ekaikasyapi rasasya pariposhakaha bhinna bhinnaha vibhavadi bhavaha bhavanti. For every rasa, pariposhaka ityukte, that which nurtures that rasam. Bhinna bhinnaha vibhavadi bhavaha bhavanti. There can be different kinds of vibhavas, etc. Yatha shringarasya ratihi sthayi bhavaha. So you take from top down, let's take Shringara Rasam. The sthayi bhava there is rati, that sentiment of passion. Abhirupyadi shalinau stripumsau alambhana vibhavau. Abhirupyam ityukte abhirupa, appropriate, beautiful, some handsome physique, and the girl is also a very beautiful looking woman. Stri pumsav, abhirupyadi shalinau, those who are shining with the very beautiful, appropriate form, a woman and a man become the alambana vibhava for this Shringara Rasam. Pura harmya chandrodaya malayamaruta kokila alapadihi uddipana vibhavaha. The kindling effects can be something like Pura, a city, harmya, a lovely palace, chandrodaya, the rise of a moon, malayamarutam, very soft breeze, kokila alapa, the sweet sounds of a cuckoo. These can all be uddipana vibhavam for Shringara Rasam. Nayananta avalokanadi madhura vyaparaha anubhavaha. Nayananta avalokanam, looking from the corner of the eye. Nayana antam, the corner of the eye. Avalokanam, seeing through the corner of the eye, not directly looking at it. Directly looking, the sentiment is completely different there. It is more of a direct approach, or sauhridam rujunai vichakshana, I think. அதாவது பரமசிவன் வந்து when he came to see Parvati, when Parvati was doing tapas, he looked at her rujunai vichakshana, with a straight eye, and he asked. He didn't have anything in his mind first, initially, when he came and started talking to her. Adukapra he started mentioning certain things which were also showing his Shringara bhavam there, but he uses rujunai vichakshana there. So Nayananta avalokanadi madhura vyaparaha. These are anubhavas. Okay, so the first layer is alambana vibhavam. The next is uddipana vibhavam. Then you have anubhava. Third layer is anubhava. Then you have nirvedaha, glanihi, shanka, shramaha, jadata, harshaha, shokaha, ityadayaha, sanchari bhavaha. This is your fourth layer. So what are all the sanchari bhavas? These are so the first one is anubhava. Anubhava is voluntary actions. These are also voluntary bhavas that you are trying to bring out because of your words or actions. It can be anything. Nirveda is a sense of despair when you're not able to meet the other person. Glani, your body shows or sorvu, a fatigue. That is glani, or fading away. Shanka, a doubt. Is he with somebody else? Or is he getting late because of somebody, some other woman? Or is it some other nejmave, some other karyam, or what? This is the shanka that arises in the mind of the lover. Shramaha, she's very tired of constantly going behind him or trying to wait for him. Then she's so fatigued because of that. Jadata, sometimes you don't even feel like moving. These need not be present. All of these bhavas need not be present at the same time. These can give rise to or bring the rasa to a culmination at some point. They can be present in the kavyam or in a natakam at various different points of the natakam. Jadata is like a total paralysis. You're unable to do anything because you're constantly thinking about him. Harshaha, there is a happiness when you see him. Shokaha, there is a sadness when you are not with him. Anything can come there as a sanchari bhava. Shoka is also a sthayi bhava. It can also be a sanchari bhava with respect to vipralamba shrinkaram. So it depends, right? So this is the third level for you, or fourth level, whatever. Then you have the sthayi bhava, which gives rise to Shringaram. So these are all the bhavya bhavas. That is yogya bhava, appropriate sentiments which come together in a way to make the sthayi bhava become a rasa. Clear? alankara. Atra ekasyaiva upameyasya. There is only one upameya, which is yayati. He is the person whom we are describing here. Upameyasya aneka upamana kathanat. There are 3 different upamanas, standard of comparisons that he is taking about. Upasana rupa sadharana dharmasya sarvatra ekatvat paryupasata iti tatra upasana अथवा सेवा इत्येव साधारण धर्मः वर्तते. There are no 3 different sadharana dharmas, but the meanings that come out are suggestions here. They are not the sadharana dharma here. So it is a suggestive manner. Sarvatra ekatvat abhinna sadharana dharma malopama alankaraha. So there can be a bhinna sadharana dharma malopama also. If he mentions a sadharana dharma as being different for each upama that he mentions, then it is a bhinna sadharana dharma malopama. Because he does not mention a different sadharana dharma and the sadharana dharma is the same, then it is a abhinna malopama. Rasa and dhvani. Okay. So when rasa has okay, dhvani can be of 3 categories. You can have a vastu dhvani, you can have alankara dhvani, or you can have rasa dhvani. Rasa dhvani is the soul of a poetry according to Dhvanyaloka. So that is your kavyasya atma dhvani riti budaihi yes samamnata purvaha. So kavyasya atma kaha iti chet tatra dhvanihi eva. तत्रापि वस्तुध्वनिः वा भवतु अलङ्कारध्वनिः वा भवतु किन्तु तत्र उत्कृष्टस्तु रसस्य ध्वनिः यत्र वर्तते तत्रैव काव्यस्य आत्मा विद्यते इति उच्यते. क्लियर्? सो तडाकमिव तापार्ताः तम इन्द्रमिव निर्जराः भावा इव रसं भव्याः पार्थिवाः पर्युपासत.
Punah Mohoday, like what is that samana dharma concept that you mentioned? Can you say it one more time?
So you have malopama here. Malopama is wherein you have 3 upamas, maybe 2 or more upamas. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So it is like a mala kind of format in a garland. What is the sadharana dharmam here? Is it one or is it different for each of these upamanas?
Seva is the sadharana dharma.
So abhinna sadharana dharma malopama.
Okay.
Bhinna ityukte, if you give a sadharana dharma for each of these upamas separately.
Got it.
Okay. Tatakamiva ashrayanta, nirjara iva apashyanta, something like that, you know. If I say.
And the other one, got it. And the other one, the dhvani, there was no why are you mentioning dhvani here?
Questions chatla. So someone has asked, is dhvani greater than rasa?
Okay.
I'm doing one multitasking here.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So upamana can be more. Upameya is always only one. Why? Because that is the subject matter here. There can be only one upameya. I can compare this. My agenda here is to describe yayati. So there can be only one upameya. Whom am I comparing yayati to? I can compare him to one person or many people. Adhan. Don't lose focus on what is being described here. So that becomes your upameya. Okay.